Today, Dr. Ira Byock will discuss ways practitioners assist patients and families in leaving nothing unsaid in their relationships. This Polaris video was made possible by the American Nurses Foundation.
I'm Ira Byock. I'm a palliative care physician, and I've been caring for people with serious illness, including those facing the end of life, since 1978. Early on, I learned from my clinician colleagues, nurses, also social workers and chaplains, that the ability to say at least 4 things to one another before you have to say goodbye can make an enormous difference in the lives of patients and, of course, their families, those they love. Those 4 things are simple. Please forgive me. I forgive you. Thank you. And I love you. At any time, if those things are felt to be said between 2 people, then saying goodbye is not essential, if you will, because there's nothing left unsaid. Probably the most clear illustration of that comes from my own life, my relationship with my dear mother, Ruth Byock. She was the quintessential Jewish mother, overbearing and intrusive and all of that. And I was not a perfect son. I drove her crazy, particularly as an adolescent, but I loved her. I probably wouldn't have had that conversation with her had it not been for the 4 things that matter most, the book that I had written. So we sat down and I said, please forgive me for all the trouble I caused you and the heartache when I was an adolescent and young adult. And I forgive you for being the quintessential Jewish mom. And I love you so much. And thank you for giving me life and all that you've done for me. This is important because I didn't know my mom was going to die suddenly, but boom, she did. She never saw the book actually published. And I miss her. And I would love to catch her up on things, but my grief is easier because I know in my heart that there was nothing critically important left unsaid between my mom and me. I feel our relationship was complete, even though it went on for a handful of months before she suddenly died. Complicated grief has to do with regrets, recriminations, the sense of missed opportunities, things left undone or things left unsaid. What I suggest is, if you're new to using this tool, simply say, I heard a lecture in which a physician talked about the use of these 4 things as a way to help people complete relationships and make sure nothing's left unsaid. I am careful to avoid saying, you should say these things to one another, or, everyone should say at least 4 things to one another. That's a little too heavy-handed from my perspective. I tend to wonder aloud in their presence if it wouldn't be of value to them. Saying to them, I found with so many families that saying just 4 things to one another can make a huge difference and lower tensions or bring people closer together. And those 4 things are, please forgive me, I forgive you, thank you, I love you. Sometimes I'm asked, well, who should I say these things with? My answer is to help people to do sort of an environmental scan of who is most important to them in their lives. Not just currently, but even in the past, people who might still be alive, perhaps a former spouse who they'd been married to for many years before a divorce, now 15 or 20 years in the past. Would it be of value for them to reach back out, make contact, and say these 4 things to their former husband or wife? Sometimes practitioners will field questions from patients saying, is it really necessary? Mom knows I love her. She knows we forgive her for anything that happened, and there's nothing to forgive her for. I found that simply normalizing the fact that no relationship is utterly perfect, that even with mom or dad that you utterly love, there may have been some misunderstandings or transgressions when you were a youngster that, it's worth acknowledging that you remember them and ask for forgiveness and offer forgiveness for the times that there were misunderstandings and tensions between you. This is normal human stuff. And it's something that we can do to celebrate our relationships and the shared lives we've had together.
We hope you enjoyed this discussion. To learn more, download our resource guide about the 4 things that matter most.